Dear friends and colleagues of the industry, welcome to another webinar. It's number 2 in a series of 5 for Tillberg Design of Sweden. Today's topic is staying sane in a sanitized world, and behind this somewhat catchy headline lies of course a very serious topic. We are, as we all know, in the midst of a massive crisis, and we are about to see some very fundamental changes to the whole cruising industry, from fore to aft, top to bottom. It's really a matter of survival to take the right measures and to regain the trust of the traveling public. The critical goal and our job is of course to offer the best possible safety on board without sacrificing the very reason for leisure traveling. We don't want to overreact or create solutions that add anxiety or create even more worry to an already concerned guest. It has to be fun and safe to travel, also in the future, not seen as a calculated risk. So long term, this will affect everything. And so the big cruise companies now hire top experts to scrutinize every single aspect of our business. It will affect the guest density of the ships, the training and number of crew, the onboard equipment, the back of house facilities and suppliers, and all the way back to how we build the ships in the first place. And to find the right long-term solutions, it will be critical to understand the entire value chain for those involved. So with our series of webinars, we want to contribute in the best way we can by picking the brains of some of the most knowledgeable people we have in our network. We believe that working together we'll be able to meet all these new requirements and actually turn them into an even better guest experience. If you think of it, will anybody really miss the buffet lines? Who would not like less queuing? So we will touch on everything from embarkation to entertainment, from the guest experience and all the way to how things work backstage. And today we're going to begin by scratching a bit on the surface, and we will look at some of the more visible and tactile aspects of the daily life on board. And in doing so, we have invited 3 very solid experts that represent 3 very unique approaches to adding health and safety to the ships. We have with us Lars Bang-Petersen from ACT Premium Purity, telling us about some very groundbreaking new antimicrobial treatments and housekeeping methods. We also have Susan Sudlin, founder of Shores of Denmark. Susan is a very seasoned and well-respected supplier of high quality and sustainable textiles and furniture. And last but not least, we have Tillberg Design's own Carl Levois, who's going to tell us a few things about smart wayfinding, how to avoid cruise and congestions, etc. So again, welcome to all of you. We will start straight away and go to Lars Bang-Petersen's presentation on ACT Premium Purity. Over to you, Lars.
The company is ACT Global. It's a Danish company back from 2013, and we're coming to the market with we can call it disruptive, or it's a paradigm shift in how to create a healthier and safer environment on board, achieved in a sustainable and environmentally friendly way. And the best way to actually start and give you an introduction is to show you a short video, 1 minute 43 seconds, from Lindblad Expeditions, who we've been serving since 2018. It started with 1-year trial on Internet Explorer, National Geographic Explorer, and they ran for a year, and the results were so convincing that they chose to roll it out fleet-wide. So let's see if we can make the technique out here. Share the screen. So let me know if you see a slide or view that says Lindblad Expeditions.
Yes, we do.
Okay, so here we go.
Lindblad Expeditions, we're the oldest and most experienced expedition travel company in the world, and we go to some of the wildest, most remote places on the planet. We're very conscious of where we travel, the amount of waste that we produce. The cleanliness of our ship is so important to keep a healthy environment. Premium purity is unlike anything we've ever seen out there. We did a 1-year trial aboard the National Geographic Explorer, and now everyone on the Explorer is an advocate of the solution and its effectiveness.
I'm sitting on board National Geographic Explorer, which is actually the first self-disinfecting vessel in the market. So all indoor areas have been treated with ACT Clean Coat. ACT Clean Coat is a photocatalytic process that works 24/7 when illuminated. It breaks down unwanted microbes such as bacteria and viruses. It's all about creating a cleaner and safer environment and greater protection of the people on board. The ship is truly pristine and healthy, and we have measurable results to prove it. We've reduced guest-reported illnesses on board by 50%. We've eliminated over 1,000 plastic bottles that we used to purchase and dispose of fleet-wide. We've dramatically reduced the water usage fleet-wide. The crew is now talking about how healthy the ship is and how effective it is to use this solution. ACT has been a great partner, and in the end, we have a system that's substantially healthier for the environment. We all win. So I hope that came across all right in the other end where you're sitting. Let's see if I can shift over to the slides. So maybe you already see. Yeah, okay. I think you. Can you see the slide say cruise industry?
Yes, now it's up.
Excellent. Okay. So thank you very much again for having me giving the opportunity to present what we're doing. So ACT is from 2013 where we started, and as I said before, we have a different approach towards creating a healthier and safer environment on board ships. So in essence, the value proposition that we go to market is that we elevate the onboard experience by creating a healthier and safer environment with greater protection of the guests and crew achieved in a sustainable and environmentally friendly way. If you go back just a few weeks, months, then it was the latter end of this value proposition that was key. We saw an increase in the sustainability and environmentally friendly way of driving and operating the cruise industry. These days, of course, as we are fully aware and the topic of today, it shifted. It hasn't put sustainability and environmentally friendly topic away at all. It's up in the top, but today it's about creating added protection of guests and crew on board. I will introduce you to what we call premium purity, which is the solution. So in essence, the technology that this solution is built upon is advanced, but the solution in use and the deployment of it is very simple. So in essence, there are two pillars of the solution. One is called ACT Clean Coat, and the other one is called ACT Ecosystem. So let's start with the ACT Clean Coat. That is an annual treatment of all surfaces on board a ship. And what the treatment does, it is we're spraying a mist onto all surfaces that renders them disinfecting. And the unique about this is that it's built on titanium dioxide. It is light activated, and we engineered it in a way that it's light activated both from indoor light but also natural light. And it's a process that takes place out in Mother Nature as well. And what happens is that when light hits these particles that we sprayed on, you can't see them, you can't smell them, they become one with the material, you can't wash them off, it stays there. But the dynamic is when the light hits these small particles, they create small radicals that live for nanoseconds. And they are the one that breaks down the structure of microbes. And the microbes could be virus, it could be bacteria, it could be spores, or it could be smell. It is a non-selective process, meaning it doesn't care what kind of microbe it is. As long as it's small, it will be broken down. It also purifies the air in the process, because when the air is circulating in a room that we've been treated, and when I say we treat everything, we treat the floor, the walls, the ceiling, and everything within that environment. That being curtains, tabletops, chairs, beds, glass, everything. So if you have microbes on your hand and you touch the surface, immediately after we remove your hand, the light hits the particles, it will start breaking down the microbes. But it will also purify the air, because when you move around in the environment, the air will have a natural circulation, and when the air brushes against these treated surfaces, it will break down the microbes that is within the air. So much also in these days of rebuilding the confidence in cruising is about the cross-contamination. So of course, this solution will not prevent people from being ill if they happen to sneeze each other and very close by. But when you sneeze, that is floating, whatever microbes that might be in the air will float around in the air, and they will land on the surfaces. And this is where the clean coat then starts having its effect, because it will break down whatever lands on those surfaces. It will also break down if you have something on the hand, if you're touching the handrail, if you're touching the buttons in the elevator, if you're touching the chair in the restaurant. And since we coated everything, all the surfaces will be rendered disinfecting. So that's the dynamic. The uniqueness of the solution is that this treatment only needs to be taking place annually. So once a year, that's a treatment of all surfaces on board. The other part of the solution is what we call ACT ECA system, electroactivated water. That is a replacement of 100% of traditional cleaning detergents. 100% is almost 100%, because you might have some heavy-duty chemicals for spot removers. But overall, if you're looking at the rollout to our clients on land, ashore, or at our marine customers, they have replaced all the traditional cleaning chemicals with ACT ECA system. ACT ECA system produces ACT ECA water, and that is what's used. So housekeeping, or people in the bar, or people in the crew in the galley, they would be using ACT ECA water. And this is produced from a machine that is the size of a small suitcase, or like an old-fashioned computer desktop. So you produce it in the amount you need, when you need it, and it replaces your daily cleaning detergents. So this is absolutely something that housekeeping love, because it's pH neutral, and it does not give any irritation or respiratory or rashes towards someone who's sensitive towards chemicals. The other good thing about the combination of these two solutions in premium purity is that we also seen that guests who might be sensitive towards chemicals, the complaints or comments from the past about a room that just been cleaned with traditional chemicals and there was a smell and people felt uncomfortable, that did not only be reduced, that was totally eliminated. So the complaints totally stopped on this one. So the premium purity is an annual treatment of something that you can't smell, you can't see it, but it renders all surfaces disinfecting while purifying the air. And the other is replacement and having a fully green approach towards cleaning of the entire ship. The only chemical that is remaining is detergents for dishwasher and washing machines. What else is the key difference in this? Typically, if we're looking at the right, is that you have solutions with chemicals and you address some surfaces and you work for some time, meaning you can disinfect the surface, you can go into an environment, you disinfect it, and then it's protected until you just finish cleaning, and then it actually leaves the surface unprotected. So that is a traditional approach. If you look on the left side with premium purity, because we coat all the surfaces, floor, ceiling, walls, everything within there, and every deck. So from the bridge all the way down to provision master, cabins, elevators, stairwells, restaurants, buffet, galleys, everything, toilets, everything. So you really create a low microbial environment where it works all the time on all surfaces, and all the time is 24/7, 365. If we're looking at the black curve here, what it shows is traditional. So there's a build-up between cleaning cycles, there's a build-up of microbes, and if you're looking at the gold one, is where we have the premium purity, because you have the surfaces are self-disinfecting that works in between the cleaning cycles. So anything that lands will start to be broken down. The challenge that we see today is that everyone wants to safeguard them against unwanted microbes. The problem is when you have the peaks when you do the cleaning or disinfecting, you knock down the microbes to a lower level, and the second after, on traditional approach, you leave the surfaces unprotected. But with the premium purity, you will have that added security, added protection, because it breaks down. And this is why you saw in the video that Lindblad, and this was even before COVID-19, that the reduction in GI cases fell by 50%. This is significant. So if anything you should remember from this is the safety, that you have the safety not only when you do the cleaning or disinfectant, but you actually have it in between the cleaning cycles. Last slide on this one, and then I'm done with the presentation. But if you look at it, the benefits, it's that it's a long-term protection against unwanted microbes, both on surfaces and in the air. The return on investment, and that is, especially these days, there's a lot of efforts and thinking about how can we secure and rebuild the confidence in cruising. And some of these are doing more cleaning more often. But if you have self-disinfecting surfaces, you can take a slightly different approach. What you can focus on is high touch points, because the walls or the elevator or everywhere where you coat it, those surfaces will be self-disinfecting. So you have less of an effort of achieving better results. It's eco-friendly. As I said before, it was the sustainability and environmentally friendly solution that was really the key topic. It still is when we talk to the cruise line industry, because they say we want a solution, but we do not want to necessarily introduce more chemicals into our fleet. The guest satisfaction, Lindblad Expedition, they use this. They use it actively now. So with the COVID-19, what the CEO did, he wrote out to the guests that have been booking onto Lindblad Expeditions coming cruises and said, we do everything to make you safe on board our ships. And by the way, we have premium purity, which adds healthier and safer ship with greater protection for you. The thing that being able to communicate that have an impact on the satisfaction, know that something extra is done. The other thing is the ambience when people are moving around, because the air is purified, the surfaces are self-disinfecting. It just feels cleaner, and you got a greater ambience. The working environment with housekeeping, not having to work with toxic or traditional chemicals, is pH neutral, and the ACT clean coat on the surfaces also help achieving better results with less efforts, meaning, take an example like in a bathroom, in a cabin, traditionally there could be harsh chemicals to keep it down. Now the surfaces are self-disinfecting, meaning which if a spore comes, land on the surface, it will start being broken down, which means that you need to use less efforts to achieve better results, keeping them all the way, for example. And the last thing is brand enhancement. So we see an increased interest in being able to communicate that a cruise line are doing more, and what they're doing, they would like to communicate. So that's also the video that you saw. That was filmed not by us, but that was filmed by Lindblad Expeditions. And they use that also when people are on board. They show this is what we do. Now you understand that you are actually in a low microbial environment and we're taking care of you. All part of rebuilding the confidence in cruising again. What I see in the discussion we have in the cruise industry is that premium purity has become part of the road back to business. Something needs to be done, and this is an environmentally friendly way of adding value and adding extra protection to guests on board. Thank you very much.
Presentation before, so I must say I'm blown away. It's almost too good to be true, isn't it? Always there must be some drawback. Is it the price tag or what is it?
I think we hear this and it's we hear that almost on every occasion. I think that too good to be true. It's just that it's we're taking a process that happens out in nature and it's a different approach, and I think that's what people are taken by. Because it's not about mixing more chemicals addressing a specific problem. It is truly just a very, very smart solution that works extremely well, and the combination of clean coats, ACT clean coat and ACT ECA has a synergy effect. So it's just very likable to work with. I absolutely love it.
It sounds very interesting. How was this all developed? What's the research behind this?
So it comes from university in Asia, and titanium dioxide as a disinfecting agent is not new. What we've done is that we engineered it. So we started in 2013. So we engineered it in a way that it works with indoor lights. Which is the uniqueness with this, and that it lasts for a year, which is also unique. So we've just been focusing. So it's not until the last 1.5 years that we really became commercial. Until from 2013 up until 1.5 years ago, about we were more a research and development, getting the registration, certifications, approvals, and all that. So we've just been lucky having a product that we managed and have the capabilities of engineering in a way that it works very undisruptedly in environment, not only in the marine industry or cruise industry, but also in the food processing, health sector, beverage, and hospitality in general on that.
Okay. So if we look at the physical or chemical aspect of it, so to say, how is it applied? How does it cling to the surface, and how is it not rubbing off if you're using that surface?
Yeah. So it's the particles are extremely small, so they become one with the surface, and it's not like a paint. It's not like a coating or Teflon. It's all these small particles. They create radicals, and the radicals have a chain reaction. So you will create almost like a gas field of radicals very, very close to the surface. And as again, the radicals live for 8 nanoseconds. But the reason why it sticks and becomes one with the surface is something that called van der Waals forces. And that's purely because they're so small that they're attracted by the surface that they've been coated to. So they can't leave. of course, in the food processing industry, they all been very interested in hearing about whether there's any migration from the coated surface onto the food that is in the food processing plant. So there's several of these, and all of these have come out with there's absolutely no migration from the coated surfaces to the food that is put on top.
Truly remarkable. Per, my colleague Per Eriksson, do we have any questions or comments from the panel? By the way, I should remind all our guests, all our viewers, that you're very welcome to type in any questions or comments you may have on the presentations you see, or we think we discuss.
Yes. So one question from me, Lars.
Yeah.
You mentioned approvals. And what would those be? If I'm a ship owner, can I trust to put this on, and it will be approved by all the relevant authorities, etc.?
Yeah. So it's a Danish company. So we started in EU. So we are listed and registered and approved for under the European Chemical Agency, so ECHA. And we have 9 different product types registrations, and 2 of them, which is relevant for this, is that it's a disinfectant product and it's approved for direct food contact. When we come to US, which is key as well in this industry, is that the titanium dioxide, which is the product that we spray on, it's not the active substance. Active substance is the radicals that are created when light hits the titanium dioxide that we put on the walls. So it's a surface treatment, and because titanium dioxide is on the list of EPA of products regarded as safe, then we don't need the approval for that. It's a surface treatment. When it comes to ECHA, electrolytes water, that is a known product within the industry. That's different. What we've done is that we engineered a machine that is not a big machine, because what we saw is that we want to place this in the utility rooms or the cleaning rooms. So for housekeeping, it should be easy to get to them. So instead of having a larger machine somewhere and putting pipes in and distribute that across a ship, we just place these small plug-and-play ACT ECHA generators. So you produce the solution for daily cleaning and disinfecting where it's needed. So that is known, and we are in discussion with a lot of cruise lines. And yesterday I actually got a very nice call that we are now we were in the run-up, and we were selected as the preferred solution for one of the very largest cruise lines. But that's not the only one. What we've seen is also that the industry's been waiting for CDC and CLIA to come with some recommendations, what to do, and we see that we're relatively new in this, but the results that we created, if you're looking at, we have real results from clients, but a lot of data as well from laboratory that we're moving in and now becoming much more known. And COVID-19, unfortunately, has helped us a lot, because it is the thing that you can't clean a ship and then you say now it's safe, because the second after you disinfected an entire ship, if someone moves around and they are contaminated and touches surfaces, you're almost back to square. But it's a different story when you have the premium purity, because it renders all the surfaces disinfecting 24/7, 365.
Thank you. I think there might be a lot of the people listening to this that have more questions, and I encourage you to write them down in the questions Q&A panel that you have. And we will move on to Susan, and then we will read questions at the end of this webinar from the audience. So let me just give you the. So Susan, you should be good to go now.
Yeah. Hear me?
You do.
We do. Welcome, Susan.
Thank you. And you also hear me?
We hear you loud and clear. And now we cannot hear you anymore. Press the
Let me see.
mute button. Can you help us there?
Is it better now? You hear me?
Now we can hear you again, yes.
Okay.
Thank
you. Thank you for inviting me on this hot topic. And Lars, thank you. That is really, I've been educated again today for the past 10 weeks. Actually, every day I've been educated at, and I think what has been or come across is amazing. I mean, 10 weeks ago, I thought this mission was impossible, but it seems it's not. So a lot of good things has happened, and Lars, I really like your product a lot, and I think that together with what we have found out, this combination actually solves the problem or a big part of the problem in the industry. So I'm very happy about that. We are more looking about the surfaces and the inside of the chairs and the pillows and the beddings to make sure that everything fulfills the new requirements. And we have antimicrobial and antibacterial surfaces, and that can also be cleaned with bleach cleanable or very harsh cleaning And a little about Shores. We started 15 years ago. We were actually only doing outdoor at that time. And the first challenges we had was that we had to fulfill the IMO. And we had to find new materials that could be used for the industry. And of course, it had to fulfill the UV and the hard environment on the ship, the salt and the storms and everything. And over the years, there has been a lot of new challenges coming that we had to add to our products, to our outdoor products. After that, they asked us to bring cushions and pillows that could stay out 24/7 and stay dry at all times. Also, there was a lot of demands for these products. Later on, we had problems with the soot from the chimneys, and then came the sustainability aspect. I think 2 or 3 years ago, we also had to, or we started already at that time, and now it's a hot topic. At that time, we already looked into those products, and we found a lot of good new sustainable solutions, and also to recycle products and use them in production. Suddenly, like a few months ago, the new demands came, and now everything had to be antibacterial, antimicrobial, and again, bleach cleanable. So also that is now, so to say, solved. That means we fulfill a lot of requirements today. So it has been a very, very interesting process. And we today don't do just indoor or outdoor furniture. We do cushion, we do pillows, and we also do all FF&E actually. So we have created a showroom here in Miami. It's an innovation showroom for the industry. So it will be possible to come here and see all these new inventions and new products. And it's actually very, very exciting what's coming up. And again, like Lars said, it came because of the COVID-19, but because we were actually just very, very busy. And but then it stopped from one day to another. If it's good or bad, I don't know, but I think something good is coming out of this, anyhow.
Yeah, I think that's a very valid point, is that something is coming out of this that we are going to benefit from also long after the COVID-19 period is over. If we can prevent the spread of all kinds of infections on board, and all this creates a healthier world altogether, then it's a good thing.
Yeah.
And I think, some of the things that we are developing and discussing today is going to it's going to change the whole industry into something better in the future. A better experience, a safer experience. Yeah.
It is for sure. And I think it has actually been a great journey the past 10 weeks. And there's so many new suppliers out there that has great products, and I think we should invite them into the industry, because it has been quite difficult to get into the industry for many suppliers for years, because it has been like a closed little group. And I think that if we can invite them and open our eyes towards other products, would be great, because we can only benefit from this. And maybe we can even be in front of the hotel industry. I would love that. That would be nice. So I also have a presentation that I want to show, and I'm going to try and see if that works.
Okay, Carl, you're on.
All right. Hi, everyone. Oh, can you see my screen? All right, good. So my name is Carl Lavoie. I'm partner and graphic signage director at Tillberg Design of Sweden, and I'm leading our top of the industry graphic and signage department. Today I will talk and scratch a little bit on the surface about smart wayfinding, what it is, and how we can help everyone for a brighter cruise future. So what is smart wayfinding? It's not one alone key element. It's a connection between a web of intelligent design, creativity, and technology. Smart wayfinding is based on intuitive wayfinding, live-streamed artificial intelligence, information directly in your ear, augmented reality in a smartphone application, personalized information controlled by sensors around the ships, but also smart interior design, carpets with social distancing patterns, counters in the Lido that speaks for themselves what they serve. No need to guess where I find my Italian fresh made pasta, and so on and so on. So what are the benefits? Faster and smarter wayfinding, enhanced guest experience, eliminating confusion and stress, improved functionality and satisfaction, eliminating touch and bacteria, and for making that bacteria spread around the ship. We have received many questions from clients, manufacturers, and yards about what is really the future of signage and what it looks like. Will the digital screens go away because guests do not want to touch public screens anymore? And so on. Signage is and will in the future be even more important than what it is today. I don't think digital screens will go away. The plan will although be different, smarter and more about antimicrobial and environmental friendly materials. Avoiding crowds by guiding the guests around on the ship in a smarter way will be crucial in the near future. Imagine being on the upper deck. You listen to a nice classical tune overlooking the horizon. Your stomach says it's time for that Italian pasta dish in the Lido. You tap your ear, hey Siri, hey Google, hey Alexa, and so on. It's time to get that Italian pasta dish in the Lido. Okay, Mr. Lavoie, we see that your stress level has decreased in the past hour. Good job. Would you like to take the scenic route to the Lido, as you usually want to do? We see that now there's a queue line. So if you want to take that scenic route, the queue line will be a lot shorter as you reach your destination. All those commands that you have on land today, turn my lights off, turn my lights on, book a seating in the restaurant, you see the menus, talk to the doctor, and so on. It can all fit inside your pocket. And yes, there are individual systems out there today. Are they good enough? Are they user-friendly? Do they work seamlessly? Today, no, they don't. My vision is that we unify and get together for the best of this industry. And it's really up to us to make the guests staying safe in a sanitized world of cruising. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Carl. I have a question for you. We have seen some of the ship owners have developed their own version of navigation systems and IT-based systems for both navigating on board and purchasing and registering and the whole experience, so to say. Sometimes requiring several applications that you download on board and so forth. Last time we had our seminar, or webinar, we discussed the parallel with the Google Maps system and the fact that most of the car brands develop their own individual systems. But still, when you jump in your car, you still use your phone when you're navigating. So how do you see this working? I mean, how do you think there is a hope or a future for either a third-party developer, like somebody like Google or somebody external, collaborating with all the brands somehow, or is it going to be a joint venture between the brands, or what's your thinking there?
I really see that a big player like Google have a great opportunity to go into the industry right now and to work with all the big players and even the newcomers in the industry. Like you said, even though if I have a brand new car, I prefer to use the system on my smartphone. Also talking about the bacteria, about screens, about your own smartphone. You're more secure when you touch your screen on your smartphone, even though it can be covered in bacteria, but it feels better. For sure, Google has the opportunity right now, Apple and so on.
So if we develop a new, let's say a new digital infrastructure on board, a new navigation system on board, how can that be extended to the embarkation process and the land-based facilities, the terminals, for instance, making sure that the whole flow or the whole sequence of moving people onto the ship and then around the ship is only as good as its weakest point. So you need one point of congestion, and we kind of lost the purpose, or at least we've reduced the effect of what we're doing. So how do we make sure that this is kind of integrated all the way from the embarkation process and onto the ship and through your entire stay?
Yeah, it's really about enhancing the guest experience, and it all really starts before you step on the ship. Looking at the cruise terminals today, in terms of the social distancing, I think we've all seen the cruise terminals today, and it's total chaos. And the systems needs to improve to make the guests feel more secure and more confident on going to a cruise terminal, and that can be done by smart wayfinding, adding that prospect together with the whole experience on the ship. Sensors around the ship can guide the guest around, so to avoid large crowdings during embarkation. They get the information right away, not stacking up in the embarkation process, and also during rush hours in restaurants and so on.
Okay, that's very interesting. So in other words, you kind of envision a software that keeps track of the movements on board, like a heat map, and then helping you to avoid crowds and queues and the daily life on board, I suppose. Yeah,
exactly. And there are heat map systems out there today that can be connected to the wayfinding a lot better than what it is.
Okay.
So it's like a web of goodie bag that you need to connect.
Okay. That's great. Thank you, Carl. Do we have any questions from the panel pair?
Yes, we do. But I think if we give Susan another shot at doing her presentation, and then we will go to questions from our audience as well.
Okay.
So, Susan, I will try to make your content available to, and I hope it works.
Page 1, and we have page 2. Great.
Okay.
Page 3.
So this is the page you want to be on, Susan? You're on, yes, let me unmute you.
We make sure that all the surfaces are antimicrobial or antibacterial, or can be cleaned with very harsh cleaning materials. And the second thing what we do is that we make sure that the inside has the same application, so that the inside is also totally antibacterial and antimicrobial. And we have found a brand new solution for that. And this is the NormaPure solution that you see on the left. And if you see on the right, we took a chair, and actually the idea is that we can change the parts. We can change the back, we can change the seat, and we can change the armrest, and you get a totally new chair. So you can reupholster and just put it on again, and you don't have to take the frames from the ship. So it's also a sustainable aspect there. And today we have a huge selection of fabrics that fulfill these requirements: fabrics, vinyls, leathers for indoor and outdoor. And it's actually practical possible to do any design that you wish. So that's amazing. If I think 10 or 15 years ago we only had this umbrella, that was it. Today it's a huge variety of materials, and we have also collected them, and they are all available here in the showroom in Miami. And we have put icons so you can see what the fabrics and the vinyls fulfill, and it's amazing to see where we have gone in these years. So I think everything is possible, and it's also possible to keep the design aspect and to keep the environment even in the future from now on. I think that is very positive. Yeah.
So Susan, you mentioned the cleaning methods and the fact that the ships are using very strong chemicals and bleaching and so forth.
Yeah.
On board. Do you see this also happening in the future? I'm thinking about the sustainability aspect of the industry, that what we do in safety should not be in conflict with what we do within sustainability. And so how do you see that moving forward, for cleaning methods and things? How do you see that developing into the future?
But I think it's not a problem, because the materials we have now actually already comply, and so I don't see it as a safety aspect. What I'm not sure about that.
I'm thinking more of the we want to keep things clean, but we also don't want to use too much harmful chemicals like chlorine or stuff like that affects the.
Exactly, and that's actually why we try to have it inherently. So it's already inherently, and with last solution on top of this, I think we have the full solution here for. I don't even think that it's a problem anymore.
Okay.
So
this kind of replaces the hard cleaning methods.
Yeah, it's either or.
I see.
It's either or. So you can actually find materials today that fulfill already and is inherently antimicrobial or antibacterial. And we are working with all surfaces. We are working on the aluminium. We are working on the stainless steel. we're working on the wood, and it's all possible. So it's not only the fabrics. So we have come really, really far the past weeks, because I didn't know that before, to be honest. It's new to me too, and I think it's new to a lot of people.
There's a lot of innovation going on right now, and we had our friend Peter Hult from Vikand in our latest webinar, and he told Seatrade only a couple of years ago that they are working on technology that it's creating almost an immune system for the ship, so to say. It's actually, you go on board the ship, and the ship itself actually cleans the air. The air is cleaned, and with last products that breaks down bacteria from the surface, and it sounds like we're sort of moving towards a ship which has its own immune system, which
exactly.
Theoretically could be a safer place than.
I think if we look into this, actually, it's not the cruise ships that has been bad. It's just because people were on the cruise ship, so everybody was saying it was because of the environment. I think the hotels has not been better. It's just because people go in and out every day, so you don't know if they were infected in the hotel or at the gas station or in the supermarket. I think it happens everywhere. It's not especially on cruise ships, and I think it's very unfair what has been going on. This heads in our industry that it's especially is cruise ships, because being on a ship and being in hotels, and I think all of you have done that over the years, there's more cleaning taking place on a cruise ship than in a hotel. So I just think it was because you stay there for 7 days and you cannot leave, and it happens on board, and you are isolated on sea. I think that is
yes.
So, but
we all know it's unfair, and I think the survival of the industry is going to depend a lot on how well the industry manages to communicate what we're just talking about in the safety of being on board, and combining that with actually offering an improved guest experience on board. I mean, a cleaner environment. Who doesn't like that? And also with Carl's thoughts about technology helping to avoid queues and congestion. Everything we discuss here seems to be a combination of, all combined, is going to, in the long term, create a better experience on board than ever before.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, just a few years ago, it was not possible to do the designs we can do today, and we can keep them with the new things. I'm not afraid that we cannot keep it. We can still create these environments, and everything is possible on board, and keep the guests safe. I'm sure about that after what we have found out, and I'm so happy that the industry is now open for new vendors and new products, because I think that's very important. So it has really led to something good. And then again, I think also it opens up for the sustainable aspect that we have been talking about, especially in Europe the past years. And in the US, it was not so accepted, or it was not. But now I think that everybody agrees that this is also an aspect that is really important. So if we can combine all these things, it's amazing. I think it's I know that in Barcelona we had a discussion about if it's possible to when the furniture like cradle to cradle, or when the furniture lifetime is over, that we give it back to the factories and then they reuse it for new production. That would be the best end result we could achieve. And I think we are also moving in that direction.
That's really great. That's very exciting. Challenging times, but at the same time, very exciting times. A lot of innovation going on, and I think altogether we'll build a stronger future for our industry. Before we close the presentations and discussions, sorry, go ahead, Susan.
Can we have the next slide, please? Is that possible?
Of course.
Yes. Thank you. So we're talking about social distancing, and that's just some of our ideas, to have a more private area. So I think some new ideas are coming up, new areas are coming up on board the ships. Maybe you want, more to be by yourself and enjoy the nature and enjoy the ride, or you can sit and work in spaces. I think that's also a topic for the design in the future. And this is just like a side effect, but that's also a way to keep us a little apart on the ships. And the next one. This is a very, very interesting product, and this came up actually 2 weeks ago. So we found this new NormaPure soft surface filter technology, which is actually used in hospitals, and it's used for bedding. It's 100% free and clean, and you can see on the right, you can actually see the barriers and the pore sizes of the dust mites, the bacteria, the viruses, which cannot penetrate through this new surface, but the air can flow. So it's a very, very clean and very airy product, and the next good thing is about it is that it doesn't have to go to laundry. So you only have to wipe it once with a wipe with soap or with alcohol. They use more harsh things in the hospital than and it might be, but it can, at least you can clean it 100%, and even after 2 or 3 years, the product is 100% clean. Today, if you look at all the inserts today in pillows, in backrest, in the lumbar pillows, the cushions, everything, what is inside these is not nice. I don't even want to tell you what's inside. It's really not nice. So with this new technology, all the soft surfaces we can now make totally clean, from bedding to cushions, pillows, and even to furniture. So that's an amazing new technology that has come up. And it has a sustainable aspect, because with the common pillows, they have to be either washed or they're disposable. If they have to be washed, the laundry, I think you can imagine on board a ship, if they have to launder all the pillows and the duvets, and it's nearly impossible, and it's of course not healthy for our environment, because it also has to be dry. And they need 2 sets, because if one goes to laundry, they need another set for the time being. And the other option is, of course, disposable, but we cannot use disposable on a ship, because where to put it and how to get rid of it, and again, it's not good for the environment. So this new wipe down technology is the best I have seen for a long, long time. I think that's
interesting. How is it done in practically? How do you do it?
How do you do it?
Yeah.
Actually, you just wipe it down. That's all. It comes clean when you start, and the surface doesn't take. It all stays outside. Nothing goes into the pillow. That's not possible. No viruses, no dust mites, no bacteria, nothing. And then
is it as comfortable and
yeah, that's a good point. It's very soft. It doesn't feel like plastic. It feels very soft. There's no noise. So that's the next thing. It's actually, and it's very healthy, and it's something that top athletes today travel with. They actually travel with their own pillows, because it's very unhealthy to sleep on pillows in hotels nowadays. So it has become the new standard for top athletes, to be sure that you live healthy and you don't get any of these bacteria or viruses during your travel.
Great. Thank you very much, Susan. Do you have anything more to show you, or?
I think that was it. That was my presentation.
Great. Thank you so
I
much.
hope it helps.
Very exciting. It goes pretty much hand in hand with what Lars showed. There's some strong connections there. I think we would make a great team together. I think everything combined together that we are discussing here is super exciting. So we will make sure that once we get to the last of our webinars, we'll put together like a report for everything we have discussed as a kind of overview of all the solutions and beautiful thinking that we have experienced during this time. I think there's a couple of more questions that have come in from the panel. Per, I think there's one from the Holland America group. It may be on Lars's previous presentation.
Yes, it is. It's from my Holland America, and it's to Lars. Is there a warranty for your product? Is the question.
Yeah, so we warrant the effect from the coating, so that the coating is working. And that's also different ways that we do it, because we apply something that you can't see, you can't smell it. So, and we've got the laboratory results, so that's fine with a lot of science behind it. And then we have, of course, the client testimonials and then the real cases proving the low microbial environment. But we're putting it into the agreement that we warrant the effect of the clean coat, so the surfaces are rendered disinfecting.
Yeah, that's correct. What you're selling is invisible, right?
Yeah.
So you might need to prove it somehow.
Yeah, and then also in the way what we also do in most contracts is that we have, in addition to the two products, we have a service and consultancy arm, and we will be on premises taking microbial tests and putting that in a report, and we will monitor that over the period of time where we are servicing the clients. So we would do TPC and ATP, and we will also do screening of the premises to see whether we see something that is not serving the best efficacy of the solution, meaning that if we see, when the screening, that we see grouts that is cracked or a silicone that is broken, that is also part of the service. But we will document and document the low microbial environment. We do a baseline before and we document it afterwards.
That's quite exciting. I have another question for you, Lars. Actually, it's today we already have we obviously have the ADA compliance protocol. That means that if you sell your ship as an ADA compliant ship, then you have to comply with all the rules and regulations defined by the ADA authorities or community. Most likely there's going to be something similar in the future on sustainability. Do you see for, let's say, cleanliness or safety, the medical safety, or the things we have spoken about today, will there be any kind of certification in the future, do you think?
Yeah.
On the same
yeah, I think and partly hope, because I think the approach we have today is it's been very much of visible cleanliness. Does it look clean? Does the guests feel comfortable? But again, these days is about the invisible cleanliness, and this is where we come into play. So the microbial cleanliness. There's no, I mean, we bring in something additional to the market. And we also have partners where we consistently we evolve in this. So maintenance programs of where we capture everything, make it available immediately for clients. But the whole point of this is that you want to be compliant and be able to prove that you have a low microbial environment, because this is a battle we're fighting now.
Yeah.
And if you can prove it, And then that is a part of rebuilding the confidence amongst guests and also the crew in the cruise business. And it's not only cruise, it's also what Susan said, it's hospitality. We have a lot on land hospitality. And I think actually the cruise line is leading this. The hotels on land will look at the cruise lines of how they manage this. But that will, I'm certain, because we have the discussions, that will come into some kind of certification. Are you acting? And not only how you clean and your protocols, which is very much today, but also do you have the solution that's secure, that you actually are protecting the people on board in between cleaning cycles or disinfecting cycles. So I think it will be. I think, and I like to think that we are part of improving and adding some extra good value to the development of the direction of how things are going.
Right.
Okay, so I have one more for Lars. This is really down to it. So how long would it take to treat a mid-size ship that's 70 to 90,000 gross tons? This is almost like an order.
Yeah. It's a little bit of how long does it take 2 men to dig a hole? So the thing is that if I answer it in a different way, that if you're looking at a cabin, that's a traditional cabin, that will take 5-6 minutes to treat, including the bathroom. If we're looking at, we just done a quote for a cruise of 200,000 gross tonnage above that. The planning we're doing is that it comes in and within 7 to 8 hours, 35 coaters would be able to treat 2,500 cabins when there's no one on board. So we talk about a question of how many coaters are available, because that is what really defines how long it will take. Then on the big cruises, the public areas, restaurants, buffets, theaters, spa areas, and so they will be treated when people are asleep. But it's you can also have it in different, so about 500 square meters of treated surfaces an hour.
Okay. Yeah, I think they will do the math.
I think it was I'm sorry about that, but
no, that's good. We still have all our attendees left, so it seems that people are interested. We are running a little bit on overtime now. We might do. I have some contact information for all of you guys that I will forward later. Do you have any more questions, Frederick, right now?
No, I don't. Only we will continue this series of webinars, of course. Next time we're going to have a representative from a well-known name from the cruise industry who will give some insights from inside the industry and what challenges the cruise industry is experiencing from the inside. So stay tuned for that. Some inside information. And the webinar after that, number 4, we are thinking of going into even more solution-oriented discussions. So we will invite some of the leading design companies into a collective design discussion. Some of our friends within the industry, some friendly competitors, and we will talk about how we as design community can address these things together collectively and make sure again to restore the trust in the industry. And number 5, we are planning to talk to some of the experts within further down the line of the supply chain, so to say, in the whole value chains, the back of house areas, the infrastructure of the ship, the whole supply chain, and everything delivered to the ship, onboard training, and so forth. So stay tuned for another 3 very exciting webinars. We look forward to seeing you then. And by that, I think we should thank all our panelists for today. It's been fantastic to have you on board. I've learned a lot today, again, which is wonderful. Thank you also for listening in, all of you in the panels. Look forward to seeing you again next time. And we will send out an invitation when that is happening. So, Per, do you have anything more to add before we close down for today?
No, I think you summarized it well. We are looking, we do really enjoy to be able to do our part, and we think that these webinars and the open discussion within the industry is part of that. We have a common, you could say, enemy or a common issue to deal with, and I think we are moving ahead really, really quick, and I think this progress wouldn't be there if we weren't kind of addressing it in a rather open way. Not the common way for our industry, but these are not your usual times. So, yeah, that's, I think, summarizes it for me.
Thank you all very much again, and stay safe and stay tuned, and we'll see you shortly again for another webinar. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.